September 12, 1958. Just before midnight, Big Sam felt his hands tremble as he tightened his grip around the pistol. $50,000. That was the bounty the five families had placed on Bumpy Johnson, and Sam, his bodyguard for 5 years, the man Bumpy trusted like family, had accepted it. The plan was straightforward. Walk into Lenox Lounge, wait for the right moment, one shot from behind, then vanish into the night. Sam entered the club. Bumpy was seated at his usual table, his back turned, relaxed, exposed. Sam pulled the gun, lined up the shot, and squeezed the trigger. The room froze. Music stopped. Conversations died instantly. Bumpy slowly turned his head, stared directly at Sam, and spoke quietly. "I've been counting on you." What no one in that room knew, what history rarely mentions, is that Bumpy Johnson had known about the hit for 3 weeks. And what he did during those 3 weeks didn't just save his life, it permanently changed the balance of power in Harlem. In 1958, Bumpy Johnson was more than a gangster. He was Harlem's shield, a man who stood between his community and those who wanted to exploit it. At the time, the Italian mob had been pushing hard to take over Harlem's numbers racket, a business built on small bets that generated millions. They wanted full control, but Bumpy stood in their way. Unlike other bosses, Bumpy didn't rule through fear alone. He ruled through loyalty and respect. When families fell behind on rent, he covered it. When police harassed black-owned businesses, phone calls were made and pressure disappeared. When mob enforcers tried to move in, they were sent back broken and beaten. The five families tried everything. Violence failed, negotiations failed, political pressure failed. By 1958, they were desperate. At a private meeting, the most powerful mob leaders in New York discussed one problem: Bumpy Johnson. Force hadn't worked, money hadn't worked, politics hadn't worked. So they changed tactics. They decided to turn someone close to him. That's when Big Sam's name came up. Sam had been with Bumpy for years. He was big, loyal, and trusted completely. If anyone could get close enough, it was him. A mob intermediary approached Sam quietly. No threats at first, just conversation. Then the truth came out. Sam's daughter was sick. Medical bills were stacking up. Treatments were expensive. Bumpy had helped, but not enough to save her. Then the briefcase opened. $50,000. Enough to pay every bill, enough to move his family away, enough to give his daughter a chance to live. All it required was one bullet. Sam struggled. For days he barely slept. Loyalty on one side, his child's life on the other. In the end, desperation won. He agreed. What Sam didn't know is that Bumpy already knew everything. Bumpy had eyes everywhere, people the mob never noticed. Someone had seen Sam get into that car. The license plate was written down. The message reached Bumpy within hours. Instead of reacting with violence, Bumpy waited. He watched Sam closely. The shaking hands, the worry, the guilt. And instead of killing him, Bumpy made a different decision. He had Sam's gun secretly replaced with a perfect replica, identical in weight and feel, but completely non-functional, a weapon designed to fail. Then, Bumpy waited. On the night of September 12th, Lenox Lounge was packed. Politicians, musicians, hustlers, businessmen, Harlem's heartbeat under one roof. Bumpy sat calmly at his table, discussing community projects, his glass untouched. Sam took his position behind him, and when the moment came, Sam pulled the trigger. Click. In front of hundreds of witnesses, the betrayal was exposed. Bumpy didn't shout, he didn't reach for a weapon. He simply turned around and looked at Sam, not with anger, but disappointment. He told Sam he had known about everything, the offer, the money, the plan. He revealed that Sam's medical bills had already been paid in full. Additional money had been set aside for his family, but the lesson had already been delivered. Sam was told to leave Harlem that night and never return. No second chances, no forgiveness if he came back. Then Bumpy addressed the room. He made it clear that loyalty in Harlem couldn't be bought, that outside forces couldn't divide the community with money or fear, and that anyone who tried again wouldn't be shown mercy. The message spread fast. By the next morning, every major figure in the underworld knew what had happened. The 5 families held an emergency meeting, and for the first time in history, they backed down. They left Harlem alone. Bumpy Johnson didn't win with bullets that night. He won with patience, intelligence, and control. He proved that real power isn't about reacting, it's about knowing what's coming and turning it against your enemy. That story became legend in Harlem, passed down through generations, not just as a crime story, but as a lesson about loyalty, foresight, and respect. Bumpy Johnson lived another decade. He didn't die by violence. He died quietly, in the same place where he proved he was always several moves ahead. Because the most dangerous weapon was never the gun. It was knowing the game before anyone else did.